Hey everyone, Sebastian here, back again with another SAT math challenge. And I hate to break it to you, but today's going to be extra hard. These are some of the hardest questions I've ever done on the SAT. Again, I'll do a question and then I'll give you a question to try. When you get the answer, put it in the comments to become SAT Champion of the Week. A pyramid has 6 edges. Each edge is 12 centimeters long. What is the surface area of the pyramid? So the hardest part about this question is knowing what type of pyramid it is. Because it tells us it's 6 edges, the only way that could work is if it's a base with a triangle on the bottom. So it's basically 4 triangles pasted together. So there's the base triangle, and then they make these other triangles all go up to make a pyramid. So we have 4 surfaces we're dealing with. Okay, and then what you need to do from there is find the area of one of the triangles, and you can find the area of the 4. The hardest part's already done. Now the fact that each is 12 centimeters long means it makes equilateral triangles all across the board. My image is not a great equilateral triangle system, but it is that. So we're going to make a drawing, and you'll see this. If you already know the math automatically, then it'll save you even more time. But we're going to draw it out because we need the height of each triangle to find the area. So it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle because originally the triangle was a 60, 60 triangle. And the hypotenuse is 12, right? So that is going to be the base as well, will be 12. And now we just need to find the height. With a 6, we're going to get 6 roots, knowing the rules of 30, 60, 90, or you could use Pythagorean theorem, but you want to not do that. You want to just know that from 30, 60, 90. And we're going to do 1/2 base times height equals 1/2 times the base, which is going to be 12, right? So we're going to put a 12 here. And then we're also going to multiply by the height, which is going to be the 6 root 3. Okay? So with all of that, we're going to get 1/2 times 12 is 6. 6 times 6 is going to be 36. Okay? So our area for one of the triangles is 36 root 3. But don't stop there. The next step is to multiply by the 4 triangle surfaces. So we're going to do 36 times 4, which you can do in a calculator if you don't know it mentally. Okay? So 36 times 4 is going to be a number that comes up a lot in the math world. It is 144. And that is your final answer. Okay, so if you have questions on this one, let me know. And if you don't have questions on it, then I'd love to see how you do on this version here. It's going to be very similar. A pyramid has 6 edges. Each edge is 15 centimeters long. What is the surface area of the pyramid? All right, so if you're able to get that last question, let's see if you can get this one here. A square right pyramid has a surface area of 3,584. The 4 triangular sides have an area of 2,800. What is the height of the pyramid? Okay, another pyramid question. Pyramids are tricky. So we're going to draw it out. This time it's a square right pyramid, so we have a square base to start. So that means we have 5 surfaces. 4 of them are triangles. And we want to find the area of the base. And then we can use that to find the side length, and then we'll find that to find the area of the triangle, because that'll be the base. And remember, the slant height is going to be the height of the triangle. Okay, so we can use the slant height, and once we have the slant height and we have the base length, we can find the actual height using Pythagorean theorem, but we'll get there. So we're gonna do first find the base length by subtracting 2,800 from the total area, because that will give us just the area of the base, because the rest is the 4 triangular sides. And that will be 784. Okay, so that's the area of the base. Because it's a square base, we can find the side length and do 784 square rooted, which I'll just let you know right now is going to be 28, but we'll get there. Okay, so now let's do 2,800 to find the area of the triangle by dividing by 4. So each triangle has an area of 700, and they're going to have a base length, right, of what I just said was 28. So we're going to use that to find the area and the slant height, which is the height of the triangle, by doing 1/2 base times height, right? So we have a base of 28. We have this height that we're looking for, and we have an area of 700. Okay, and then we're going to get h equals 50, because 1/2 times 28 is 14. 700 divided by 14 is 50. Okay, now that we have that, imagine the right triangle being made by the base, half the base length from center to edge. So that'll be 14. and then the slant height, which is going to be 50, which is what we just found, and then what we're looking for, which is the height. That's the final answer. So we're going to do 14 squared plus height equals, I did SH just to make it different from the height. 196 plus SH squared is going to be 2500. And we're going to subtract 196 and we're going to get SH squared equals 2304. Square root that and we get SH equals 48. So that is the height of the pyramid. One of the hardest, most involved questions out there. All right, so if you got this, then I'd love to know if you can do the next one here. A square right pyramid has a surface area of 3,584. The 4 triangular sides have an area of 3,200. What is the height of the pyramid? Let me know if you get that one. All right, so this is the last one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to leave you with one to model it based off of this. 2mx squared minus 18nx plus 2m equals 0. The equation has two solutions, and m and n are constants. If m is less than 0 and n is greater than 0, and n over m is less than k, what is the minimum value of k? Okay, to solve this, we want to think about the discriminant, which is the part inside the square root in the quadratic equation, b squared minus 4ac. When it is positive, we have two solutions. So we know in this case it's going to be positive. It's going to be greater than 0. When it's 0, we only have one solution, and if it's negative, we have no real solutions. So in this case, let's set it up. B squared minus 4ac, we're going to take the equation we have, but we can actually simplify it because all the 2's are in there. So we can divide out the 2's. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to recopy it out, right, so that I have it to work with in my workspace. And then I'm going to divide by 2. If you're doing this, you don't have to recopy it out. You can do it mentally and just write down the new equation, but I want to show my work for you all. So I'm dividing by 2, getting 191. So A is going to be m, 1m, right? B is going to be 9n, and C is going to be 1m again. So we're going to do b squared, which will be negative 9n squared. I should have said negative, not just 9. And then minus 4 times m times m. The negative is going to cancel anyway when it's squared, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to get 81n squared minus 4m squared is greater than 0. It's greater than 0 because it's two solutions, so we have to be bigger than 0. 81n squared is going to be greater than 4m squared. And now I'm going to square root both sides and get 9n is greater than 2m. Okay? From there, I'm going to divide by 9m. Dividing by m will get me the n over m, and dividing by 9 will get it isolated. Okay, now what's going to be weird here, this is the part that throws off 95% of students, so if you don't get it, that's okay, is I'm going to flip the greater than sign to be less than, because the m is a negative number. When you divide everything by a negative, you're going to make a flip there. That's just one of the rules. So we have n over m, right, because m is negative, is going to be less than 2 over 9. And because we know that m is negative and n is positive, we know that should be a negative 2 over 9. So when we were doing the square roots, we get positive and negative values for them, and we know one of them is negative, so it's going to give us that. And that is our answer. N over m is less than negative 2 over 9, so that means k at minimum value is negative 2 over 9. If you have any questions, let me know. I know it's a pretty crazy one. Now try this one out, and if you get this one along with the other two and you put the answers in the comments, you will be SAT Champion of the Week. But don't worry, this is the hardest one I've done so far, so if you don't get it, that's just room for growth. 3mx squared plus 18nx plus 3m equals 0. The equation has two solutions, and m and n are constants. If m is greater than 0 and n is greater than 0 and n over m is greater than k, what is the maximum value of k? Try it out, everyone, and let me know how it goes.